Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship finale from Le Mans. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is Adam Hedgecock with Sam Kumo on the cameras this evening. And like I said, this is a championship finale. Round 8 out of 8. Already got the Pro Championship confirmed, but the Amateur and Teams Championship are tightly contested. Adam, it's been a superb championship so far, and this is a pretty classic circuit to finish off as well. It's the season finale of the World Endurance Championship, of course, nowadays, and it's going to be the season finale today.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind season, hasn't it? It only seems like a couple of weeks ago we were setting out on this season, this little journey that we've been on, and before we know it, here we are. We've seen some fantastic racing over the weeks. We've seen some amazing battles, some absolutely stellar overtakes. It's been an absolute joy to commentate on, and yeah, what a place for a finale.
Absolutely, it should be a fantastic round to finish off the season. Just a little bit of a rundown, as always, of the format. We've got a 10-minute qualifying session. The driver's about halfway through that. 4 laps they can set. Such a long circuit such as this, even Spa, I think they managed to get all the laps in. Around this place they aren't, because we are running close to 4-minute lap times. Then we will have a 25-minute race 1, then we will randomly reverse the grid and bring up race 2 once we swap servers, and that will be a 40-minute race. In the championship, that's quite big. Enric Andre has won the championship in the pro standings, with a couple of dropped scores involved, means that he cannot be caught up from now on. In the amateur standings though, it's still up for grabs. Bob Humphrey, after a strong Spa round, after a strong season, to be honest, he's got himself a handy advantage over Daniel Lee. However, a retirement for Humphrey would be massively costing for him, so he really does need to have a good round of the championship to confirm that one. And in the teams championship, Gold Racing Team with a decent advantage, 75 points. They currently are ahead of Evo SR. They have had a lot of momentum. Of course, Evo SR last time out actually got the most, won both races, of course, Adam, and yet still Gold Racing Team came away with the most amount of points. Kind of just shows their consistency so far this season with 3 very strong drivers.
Oh, absolutely. You're bang on the money with that. They've seemed to got better and better over the course of the season. Oh, they started off very strong anyway, but as the season has gone on, they've just been upping their pace, upping their consistency, pulling in the slightly better results all the way along. And yeah, last time out was brilliant for them individually and for the team. Yeah, definitely a team on the rise, and with the satellite cars not here, they're definitely. Sorry, Brandon Warren is here for satellite, but for the pro satellite drivers not being here, it really is an opportunity to let Gold Racing Team absolutely shine.
Absolutely. Eichenberg with already a race victory at Nürburgring Race 1 this season. We've also had Caroni, Andre, Andra, McMahon and Saltz, those latter 2. Scoring their race wins at Spa last time. Also Bibby as well, we should forget Lewis Bibby, who I do believe is here today, which is a little bit of a shame. Also good to see Christophe Adriano back in the series. He took part in the first couple of rounds, but hasn't been here ever since. But he is back in the championship, so that is fantastic to see. As Eichenberg currently the provisional pole sitter. Look at that, it's a Gold Racing Team. 1, 2, 3, with Daniel Lee top of the amateur drivers. This is going to be Eichenberg's last lap. So he takes an unusual line. Looked as though he was going to come into the pits, just trying to open up that turn in absolutely for the forward chicanes. And comes out of the final corner. And he crosses the line. Eichenberg improves and he gets below the 3-minute 50 barrier. A half-second clear of his teammates, and Stephen Broomfield puts himself up into 4th place. Incredible scenes. A Gold Racing Team 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't even seen this from Satellite so far this season. This is absolute domination.
It is indeed. It's worth noting we do have a slightly depleted field this evening. Of course, we're coming off the back of the Nordschleife Nürburgring 24-hour race, which finished earlier on this afternoon. So quite quite unsurprisingly, some of the drivers are opting to catch up on some sleep and relax this evening. So slightly depleted field, but absolutely with Gold Racing Team and Gold Racing Team Blue, they are absolutely dominating at the moment, and it's I'm sure they'll be absolutely buzzing in their team chat at the moment.
Definitely, they have a really good chance. What can Aaron Powell do? Currently, top of the Evo SR drivers. There's no McMahon today, no Bibby. And so he might be the leading force for that team. He gets to the line, but it is an improvement for him. He is in 5th position ahead of Daniel Lee. Jeffrey Garzotto, another Gold Racing Team driver, in 7th place at the moment as the session is advancing. And we're going to be able to jump into this race 1. And it is Dennis Eichenberg then on pole position once again, just as he was at Nürburgring a couple of weeks ago. Make Weissakopsakir is in 2nd place. Tash Edwards in 3rd. Then it's Stephen Broomfield, Aaron Powell, Daniel Lee, Jeffrey Garzotto, Bob Humphrey, Kev Copeland, Joseph Saul, John Tressida, Brandon Warren, Tom Stevens, Derek Holland, Dean Powell, Bill Kraus, John Gordon, Andrew Locke, and Christoph Adriano rounding out the order. Hopefully Gordon takes a start. I'm not sure if he's actually in the session at the moment. It would be a bit of a shame if John wasn't going to be able to attend, seeing that he is currently 3rd place in the championship. Looking out for the amateur championship, Adam, we've got Daniel Lee in 6th place, Humphrey in 8th. I mean, if Humphrey finishes ahead of Lee, then that would possibly be the championship over. Lee's got to finish a number of places ahead of his rival if he's going to even make this close going into race 2.
Yeah, Humphrey just needs to keep the car clean and bring it home, doesn't he? But I'm just looking at that top 8, and I'm thinking that any one of those could actually win this race. It's alarming because of the type of track. It's very draft orientated. So even if you're not as quick through the corners as the others around you, if you can just stick in that toe, you've got a chance. And no disrespect to Copeland and Soul in 9th and 10th, but you look at the names in the top 8. Even Garzotto, he's been a little bit patchy this season. But he's got a chance in this one. We've seen he can be quick. So yeah, fascinating first race we've got here.
Yeah, it should be a really interesting one. Because long straights, the Mulsanne. We have got the chicanes. It is an option on iRacing to use the historic layout, which I don't think quite does the historic layout justice. Because we used to have, well, I don't think Portugal's used to even be a thing. It was even more flat out than it used to be. And then because in the late 80s when they got in the chicanes down the Mulsanne, you can run without them, but probably more safe to keep them. And they are quite a lot of fun as well. You can see the pace car pulling away further up. The Ford pace car. It doesn't look as though we're going to have a Ford winner, as we did for a couple of times last time out at Spa. How are the Gold Racing Team drivers going to go about this? And they almost have the team's championship secured with a depleted Evo SR field today. Are they going to be completely free to race, or do you think they're going to be really hoping that they can, or concentrating that they can lock out the top 4 positions?
Well, as we found out from the interviews last time out, they are. We spoke to Stephen Broomfield, I think, who was saying they pretty much race hard. They go as they want to, and they'll talk it through as the race progresses. As we hear the glorious jets going overhead. Yeah, I think they'll just go out there, have some fun tonight. They know that they've pretty much got the teams in the bag as it is. Maybe they'll just sew it up this, or make sure they sew it up this first race, and then really have some fun in the next one. But we'll wait and see, won't we? Either way, again, it should be brilliant.
Absolutely. So here we are then, final round of this Apex Racing League GT Championship. 19 cars are going to take the start. You can see John Gordon taking the grid as Dennis Eichenberg rounds the final corner, and we are away for 25 minutes of racing. No changes in the top 9. It can be a tricky start here through the couple of chicanes. However, I haven't seen any issues so far as the jets fly up ahead, causing a hello smoke as well through the cameras. Eichenberg holding off Vice here, even though he was pretty close going into the first couple of corners. And so far, Humphrey getting past Garzot, so that's a strong start for the amateur championship leader. Also seeing John Gordon getting up into 15th place. And Bill Krause getting a bit of a poor start. He's dropped off the back of the order. He's down into 19th place now as we're about to get the slipstream battles going.
Brilliant start for everyone, really, wasn't it? Nice and clean. Everyone managed to get through the first few corners. One thing you don't want to be doing... Oh, who's that off? Commentators curse, it's Broomfield. Why don't you just dropped it coming into the onto the straight there? Maybe a little bit of contact, possibly. It's pretty hard to drop it on your own there, but he's back underway. But yeah, as I was saying, you don't want to be fighting too hard at this point. You want to make sure that you always stick in the draft, the slipstream of the car in front, and just battling will just put you further behind. So if they play it smart, they can keep in touch. If they start fighting, then they can easily drop back.
So that was from 4th position then, as we got, I think that was Gordon cutting the chicane. A couple of the B team drivers going side by side as well. Saul and Stevens, they've been pretty close to one another all season long, as Vaisekopsik here might be able to take the lead. He's going to have the inside for the second chicane, and there he goes. So got a new race leader, Vaisekopsik here. He had a brilliant chance of winning Spa Race 2 before he spun out from about a 2-second lead. He's got ahead of Eichenberg, who might try to come back straight away. Surprisingly, despite all this battling, they're pulling away big time. It's a big lead currently for the 3 Gold Racing Team drivers, as Vaisekopsik still got part of his car ahead, and actually lifts out of it. Eichenberg moves back into the lead.
He does indeed. It's fun to see that they're looking at each other, getting some moves done, as we see Saul here on the inside coming at the end of the Mulsanne here. Tom Stevens just behind. Oh, a little bit slower than what Stevens and Holland expected there. Both had to check up quite a bit. But yeah, interesting to see that they're already willing to race up front. Surprisingly, Taj Edwards seemed to have dropped back just a touch, which is yeah, quite a surprising thing. We know how quick he can be. Oh, there you can see just down the straight. There's already some segregation. Not what the drivers want at all. They want to be tucked up behind the car in front as much as possible as we go 2 by 2 into Indianapolis.
Yeah, the TP team drivers. Well, they're kind of covering the entire circuit. This is a remarkably narrow circuit, of course, using public roads for a lot of it, and so there isn't really a way past these couple of Bimhos, which are pretty wide cars anyway, and they are locking out this track. But look at that, the train goes right to the back of the order. Krause and Broomfield are a bit detached, but that's about it, and you can rely on Stephen Broomfield by catching up by the end of this race. Krause only in his 2nd event, I believe, in this championship. Yeah, 4 start for him. He's the only guy who got away poorly from the start. Now this Porsche curve's so tricky for these drivers, a bit like the bus stop at Daytona, where you run so little wing. It means that these high-speed corners, it's very easy to lose the rear end of the car, but everyone's doing a pretty good job there. And also the grass, Holland found out a little bit there. Also very slippery, can easily over-rotate your car, and plenty of slowdowns as well. This is a probably tricky circuit, and Warren picking up one of those slowdowns on this opening lap. Doesn't feel like we're on the opening lap because we're about 4 minutes into this race, but he has picked one up and he drops 5 places, I think, right there.
So easy to do as well. As you come out the Porsche curves, you've got this little bit of runoff that just tempts you out every time you see the chevrons, and you think, yeah, I can just run that little bit further out on track, open up the corner, carry more speed, and before you know it, you've gone just a few millimeters too far, and iRacing will slap a slowdown on you. So easy to do. No matter how hard you try, you still get tempted out there, and we saw that Warren was the first victim of it. Porsche curves, very difficult in any car, to be honest. It's another one of those that you want to carry more speed than you really can, and you have to be so careful through it, especially on the opening laps. With all the long straights, your tyres really aren't up to temperature.
Gordon gets past Powell. That was a bit of a unique move. Powell gave him a lot of space. Further up, we've got Powell. And this Gold Racing Team, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's been broken. Powell moving up into 3rd position. Trying to make it 3 Evo SR victories in a row. Trying to make it 4 Evo SR victories. Just the past 3 meetings, he's doing a good job at it at the moment. He's up into 3rd place. The top 2 1.6 seconds now between the top two, which is absolutely massive. Surprising that it has increased to this amount. I didn't quite know, maybe it was a mistake from Vice Kopsik here. And here comes Edwards again. The Ferrari historically has been the fastest GTE car, and it flies past the BMW, but perhaps you want to be behind coming through this chicane so that you can have the move going into Molsheim Corner.
Well, it is the shorter of the straights. I feel that it is curved, so it's very easy to defend this one compared to the others. I'm wondering if Edwards is running a little bit of extra wing on that Ferrari. It is notoriously tricky to drive, so I just wonder if he's running a little bit of extra wing. He doesn't seem to be able to keep up with cars when they pull a bit further ahead of him, and out in front he seems to get swallowed up as we see how close Powell gets to the back of his car there. Yeah, I just wonder if he needs to run an extra click or two just to keep it settled in things like the Porsche curves, where you're really dependent on the grip from the car.
Certainly a good shout. By the way, that camera jolt that bolted to the back of the Ferrari, it's probably on the car. I mean, it's not as though it's like almost hanging off the car. It is properly on the car. Probably got about a foot or so still on. So that was how close it was. You can see how close we got to almost taking out the camera. The B team drivers have been overtaken, it looks like, by Locke, Andrew Locke from New York. First time he's been in the series, and he's been able to promote himself up. But back comes Tom Stevens. That was a bold move to Indianapolis. Now, can he hold it off going into this next right-hander? Just about. That was all very close, and in the end, it was Saul who got ahead as well. So, disastrous couple of corners there for Locke, and these couple of B team drivers, they are losing each other quite a bit of time. You can see the massive gap back up to Lee ahead, but they are hanging on to these positions pretty well. Here comes John Gordon, who's been very quick so far in this race. Easy catching up to these guys as the B team just both of them run wide. Everyone's running wide apart from Gordon, but he can't really do too much with it.
Welcome to the series, Mr. Locke. Lesson number 1. When you think the job's done, defend hard. Defend hard. Defend hard. Otherwise, you'll have exactly the same thing. Oh, a little bit of touch there. A little bit of nudging. Gordon now getting the run. Oh, into the wall he goes. Locke a little bit late trying to cover that one off by the looks of it. And that's Gordon set into a tumble.
Absolutely. Gordon seems to be out of the race. What a shame that is. And hopefully we'll see him back to race 2, but of course will not be eligible for the reverse grid. Unless he somehow gets his faster pay. He was pretty close to the end of the pit, so I wonder if he'll have quite a quick tow. There was the move then. Did seem to come across quite a bit on his rival, didn't he? And Gordon going flipping off the track, and will not be finishing this race. By the way, change for the lead in the amateur leads. We've got Humphrey up into 6th place now. He's ahead of Daniel Lee. He's down 2 places from his start. In fact, Lee is a long way behind Humphrey. Not quite sure. In fact, actually, he lost 11 seconds on that last lap with Lee. So I don't know if we can maybe get a replay of what happened to him. That is massive for the championship. If Humphrey could win this race 1, I think it would almost spell the end for Daniel Lee's championship challenge. Because Humphrey is rare that he's run this high all season.
I'm just having a quick look. I can't see that he's had an off-track in him. I wonder if he's got a slowdown. I wonder if he just ran a little bit wide coming towards the last couple of chicanes maybe. Maybe you can pick one up at that chicane they've just been through. If you run the inside curb a little bit too aggressively, you can pick up a slowdown. Given the amount of time that he's lost, I would imagine that's probably the case. There's no damage on the car. Interestingly, I don't know whether he's always run it, but there's Apex Racing TV stickers on the side panels of his Ferrari now. Maybe I just missed that through the season, but certainly good to see.
Certainly support that. We're not like RaceSpot, and we don't say, oh, it will get you 10 extra horsepower, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't happen. What it does do, it gets you a lot of favoritism in the commentary box, which is far more valuable. So we're spitting straight facts right there. Kev Copeland, he's having a great race. They're in 7th. The B team look as though they might finish in 3rd place in the championship. they have a stellar round. No, I don't think they could catch up to either SR. I was just thinking that they might be able to get second place in the championship. I think they will have to stay in third, but it's still been a good season for these guys. Copeland, Stevens, and Saul representing them today. Here comes Brendan Warren. He's up into 10th place, up 2 places from his start. The two B team drivers of Stevens and Saul have got a little bit divided now. Nearly 2 seconds splitting them, and that makes their defence a little bit weaker. And Warren has been able to break that blockade, so he's up into the top 10 now.
Warren is, to me, he's the one that never quite flourished this season. He showed massive promise at the start of the season, didn't he? He was dominating the AMS. And then, although his qualifying was pretty woeful to begin with, he always seemed to come back through the field and get fantastic finishes. But it just kind of seemed to peter out a little bit towards the end of this season. And it's a real shame because he offered up some brilliant racing earlier on, didn't he? Which was a delight to watch. But he's back amongst it now. P10 currently at the moment. It's at 5th in the AMS overall. So yeah, he's not having a bad race. But yeah, such a shame his season didn't pan out as it started.
Yeah. He's been involved in a couple of incidents. He was involved in a tight incident at Spa where there was a load of netcode. I think that was in race 2. And if you have a couple of incidents like that in a relatively short season as this is, it can really jeopardise your championship. I think he's suggested being involved in a couple too many of them, being a bit unlucky, and hence why he's maybe not quite fighting for the amateur championship. Could still finish in second place, I think, mathematically. Certainly top 3 is quite possible for him, especially with Gordon dropping down the order in this race one. Gordon, by the way, still in the pits. So that will mean that he is now a full lap down. Even if he did exit the pits now, he still wouldn't be eligible for the reverse grid because he is now a full lap down. So he will not be within the reverse grid. I think he'll go down to 18th place, it seems like. As we go back to this battle, Derek Holland battling with Stephen Broomfield, who's finally been able to catch up to these guys, and they really should be up in the top 5. Heck, he could have been fighting for the win if it weren't for that spin at this big corner.
It could have been, yes. What could have been for Broomfield? But as we know from watching him over this season, he never backs down, does he? He might have incidents. Generally, I mean, I think he's probably one of the cleanest drivers this season. Doesn't seem to get involved in too much, but he's always there and thereabouts at the end. Race 2, I think that's what his sights will be focused securely on now. Just a quick hello to Marco, who's joined us in the YouTube chat. Good evening, Marco. See you sneaking in. Oh, I say that he doesn't have incidents, and then he locks up going into the next corner. Oh, there's that curse. I just cannot shake that this season. He's going to have a mighty slowdown now. Although we're a few laps in, so we might be able to just feather it a little bit. Might be able to get away with it.
Very much confirming that tale of if you say Marco's name 3 times and spin around in front of the mirror, then you will cause a commentator's curse. That is his is his strength. It's a bit of a witch, is Marco. I'm sure he would not deny that. Andrew Locke then up into 12th place. The card number 25, but runs a little bit wide and has a spin. Oh, and he's almost off the into the wall as well. So that is Locke in big trouble. Should be able to rejoin ahead of Tressida. As Tressida goes the other way. Good hesitation there from Locke. Close for second place. Yeah. Look at this. Here comes Garzotto. Maybe it will be a Gold Racing Team 1, 2, 3, 4 once again, just as we saw at the start. But coming back through is Aaron Powell. Bob Humphrey as well. Catching these guys a bit, 4 seconds of the gap. You can see it for yourself right there. Powell hasn't got past Edwards actually on this lap. I'm a little bit surprised that after getting past earlier on, he hasn't been able to re-overtake since then.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a little bit surprising, but as you rightly said, this is quite a narrow track. I mean, you can use a lot of the outside of it. You see the red stripes outside of the main racing surface there. You can go out there. It gets very bumpy, very dirty, so you kind of use that sparingly, as we see Edwards just kick up a little bit of dirt entering the curves there. But yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't got back through. And of course, Garzotto He's dropped back a little bit now, but he was right on it, wasn't he? Just having a little look, see if he could get involved. I think if he manages to get to the front of that, that will be his highest finish all season. In fact, I don't think he's far off it now, finishing fifth. I'll have to consult my notebook on that.
Oh, your trusty notebook. Seriously, you have. So what do you have the race results from every race in the notebook?
So I'll have I'll have the top five for each category. Who was on pole? If there was a big mover for race one and race two, and then any additional notes that might come in handy later on in the season.
Awesome. That is so good, so good.
All written in my finest doctor's handwriting. Like I can barely make any of it out now, but at the time I would have known what it meant.
I can imagine you racing in AOLTC and someone else comes up behind you and you get out your notebook, you see what their reputation is. Like, oh yeah, well they had a bit of a collision at Mid-Ohio race 2, didn't they? So I best not to change that. No, it's very good, absolutely very good. Edwards then well apparently is even closer in this one, so he's 3 tenths of a second behind. Just a reminder, he got past on the run between the first and second chicanes earlier on. Seems to be you kind of want to get ahead going into the second chicane, I think. So you got past going into this first chicane earlier. Yeah, he did, and then got re-overtaken the following straight. But this is where you want to be, and now he has a slide, and that's gonna ruin any chance on this lap. We're gonna have I believe 2 more laps after this one. Will be a 7-lap race. So still plenty of time, as you can see Garzotto, if anything, dropping off these guys. Brandon Warren, I think, maybe got a slowdown on this lap, because the gap's back down to half a second now between him and Joseph Saul. Tom Stevens as well has joined the party, and Derek Holland and Stephen Broomfield as well aren't too far behind either. So this 5-car battle kind of disbanded earlier on, but they are reuniting once again. Broomfield moves up then into 12th place.
Just had a little flick through my notebook. If anyone is actually wondering if I do have one, here's cages. Yeah, this would be Garzotto's best finish of the season, and what a time to do it. And it's kind of good to see, because the first time that I saw Garzotto in this league was off the back of is it the Spring 12 Hours? I think there was an event on, and he was it was a VLN race, I think it was, and yeah, he was really struggling. He was having a fair few incidents, not all were his fault. And I came into here just hoping that he would do better. And yeah, I mean, if he can get a P5 tonight, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely, it would be a great way to round off the championship. Even if he doesn't finish in the top 5 in this race, I think for race 2, he would certainly be a very good one to watch out for. Warren, he's just staying ahead of Copeland. Copeland is really quick. Was in the draft. Just gotta make sure that you stay close enough around this part of the circuit where you get into a few corners. But even then, of course, after the right-hander coming up, you do have a decent straight. Is this Arnage? That was nearly me. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I'm not sure on corner names here. I haven't been here a lot. Usually before the races, I will get some notes written down about the tracks, get a map guide up. But I was a little bit late this evening. It took me a little bit longer to cook my pre-race meal than it would normally, so a little bit behind, unfortunately. But yes, a little bit lucky to get away with the contact there. It just shows you have to commit to overtakes here. As we see, Warren got really close to that outside wall, didn't he?
I think he may have hit it. He lost a lot of time. Wonder if he could get an onboard of Brandon Warren, see if he's got any steering damage. Looks alright. And no bonnet damage either. But I thought I saw the car move as though it had got a bit of contact. Still Broomfield is, so Broomfield's past Stevens now, so he's up into 11th place. And there is a bit of damage for Warren, you can see, yeah, just on the fender. And Warren then, no rear wing damage, fortunately. Or just affecting a bit down the straights though, and even if you're losing, I don't know, 0.2% of your pace down the straight, increasing your drag coefficient, it's going to lose you a lot of time around a circuit like this, as a slowdown through the first chicane for Kev Copeland. That means that Broomfield's now up to 10th place. A few of these he hasn't really had to do a whole lot for, and Copeland drops way down, was as high as 8th place earlier on. Further up, Powell having to defend from Garzotto, but still decently close to Edwards, 8 tenths of a second, the gap to P3.
Yeah, they don't want to be fighting too hard. You want to be with P3 here. You want to be with Edwards coming into the last lap. You don't want to fall behind because it's incredibly hard to catch back up if you're driving with someone who doesn't want to help you get to the front. It's very dependent on other drivers helping you get forward in this track. Warren, yeah, that even a little bit of damage, even if he's only a couple of mile an hour down. Any other track that wouldn't be a problem, but here that's a major thing. We can see they're all grouping up behind him now. As we look back from Warren's car, that M8 looks massive, doesn't it? It's huge. I can't see that without thinking about the great memes where we see the oversized M8 down the straight, dwarfing everything else that's there. Warren for now though staying ahead of Sol.
Oh, that's a spin for Broomfield. Oh, dearie me. Well, that's his second spin, and he'll be absolutely kicking himself. Could have been such a great race one result this for Stephen Broomfield. I mean, as long as he's not mega unlucky, we should get a decent sized reverse grid. Although I say that, if it's one of the minuses, I've only got -5, 6, and 7. So if it was one of them, then I don't think he'd be within, just because we're lacking a few drivers today. Up to Powell, eligible. Locke unfortunately quits the race. I'm not sure if there was a further incident for him. So he needs like a 13, 14, or 15 car reverse grid, or a full would be really good for him. If that did happen, then Broomfield would be in for a great chance at perhaps winning race 2. Further up, Warren. He is defending against Sol. Sol did get alongside him, I think ahead for a moment just a second ago, but couldn't hang on to it. Protect Holland now back up into the top 10 after a slowdown earlier on. Further up again, Garzotto and Powell. This is properly going at it now, and they are 4 seconds behind Edwards. They've had an awful lap of these drivers, and well, managing to stay ahead there is Powell, but must have just been yeah, I don't know what happened to them. Garzotto set the fastest second sector of anyone on this lap, but then they lost 1 second in sector 5 and 6 tenths through sector 6. And after battling for a podium, they're absolutely miles away, and now Derek Collins off the circuit as well, and does drop outside the top 10, so plenty of mistakes out there.
There is. It looks like Powell and Garzotto were having a little bit of a spat. They passed each other a couple of times towards the end of that lap. So that could be where they lost the time. But now it's just a fight for 4th. I don't think they're going to be catching Edwards with the distance he's up the road. This should be Napkin Math, the last lap, I think. Where is Eipenberg at the moment? Can we see him? Oh, he's just coming onto the Mulsanne. Thank you, Sam. He's just come onto the Mulsanne, hasn't he, by the looks of it? So, yeah, this should be the last lap, Sam.
It will be. So yeah, lap 7. Broomfield has got past Holland, by the way, back up into 12th place, which means that he's got basically, I think he's got a 50-50 chance of getting within the reverse grid, does Broomfield. I feel like I'm taking for granted that everyone knows what the reverse grid is. We spin a wheel, and it's got the options of 12, 13, 14, 15, and then which would reverse the grid by that amount. And then we've also got some minuses on, which is basically everyone who's eligible, everyone on the lead lap, minus, say, 3. So, for example, Powell minus 3 would be Adriano, for example, on your screens. And it's about a 50-50 chance that Broomfield will get within that. If he did, then he would be very good. Here are these two again. I mean, Sol and Stevens. How evenly matched do you want to be? They have separated a couple of times so far today, and this time it is Sol who moves back ahead for 9th place. They have fallen off. Warren has another slide through that chicane. Afternoon time of day as well for race 2. It's going to be even more slidey. I think. Oh, as Warren's got a slowdown. Oh dear. And just as though just as it looked like he was going to be able to be home and dry, he's dropped 2 places again.
Out of nowhere, it just showed, didn't it, with Soul and Stevens there. They've both got a bit of oversteer as they come out of that chicane. Just getting on the power so early and sliding it out, even though they're in the same team. It just shows that they're here to race. They want to beat each other regardless of being in the same team. Brilliant to see. And again, this is what we've been served up all season long. I'm going to miss it during its downtime as we see Visa Kopsika. Edwards is right on the back of him as Visa Kopsika had a slowdown.
He lost 2 tenths in sector 1, 3 tenths in sector 2. And then, had an awful sector 5, and this will probably explain why. There you go, he lost 2 seconds with that mistake. Should be alright. I don't think Edwards will go for a mega move. Top 4 Gold Racing Team drives. Absolutely remarkable dominance. Stevens, by the way, has got past Saul further back, but out in the lead, this man, Dennis Eifenberg. You remember race 1 at Nürburgring. We've only had Satsite Racing drivers win multiple races this season. We had Andre and Andra and Caroni. And since then we've had single race winners as himself, of course, Eifenberg, McMahon, Bibby, and of course a couple of others. But here is Eifenberg to take his second race victory of the season, his second race 1 victory of the season. The Gold Racing Team driver crosses the line at Le Mans to win. Second place will be Visa Kopsika. Edwards is in 3rd. Garzotto will hold off Powell for 4th, making it a Gold Racing Team 1, 2, 3, 4. Top of the amateur drivers is Bob Humphrey, who almost has that amateur championship sewn up. He may well have it points mathematically by now, but certainly looking very strong for him. Here is Broomfield trying to get past Warren. There's contact between the 2 of them. Can Warren defend into the last few corners? I think Stevens Copeland will take home 8th and 9th. Again, there goes Broomfield trying to go down the inside. Here he goes. Oh, and they're both going to be able to get past Stevens. They're so slow across the line seemingly. Can Broomfield do anything with this? Oh, they're still making contact. Who's going to win out of this one? It's all mega clumsy. Coming in behind his Saul. And it is Broomfield. He takes it.
Wow.
And I think it was a slowdown for Warren. One of them cut the chicane. I think Copeland may have had a slowdown actually. What a crazy end that was. Broomfield somehow finishes in 9th place.
That was quite the finish, wasn't it? I was a little bit concerned with the amount of defensive moves Warren was putting in just as they come into the first of those tight chicanes, but they managed to get through somehow. How they managed to fit, was it like 4 cars in the end, wasn't it, on such a small piece of tarmac? And then Broomfield using all of the track and a little bit more, and then a little bit more again to try and take that position. What a great finish that was.
Really was. That was really fantastic finish. Good racing throughout. And we're only halfway through. Not even that in terms of the actual racing. We are going to have another race coming up in a bit, but first, the results. And it's Dennis Eifenberg who wins out 4.2 seconds clear of Mike Visa Kopsika. A Gold Racing Team 1, 2, 3, 4, like I said. And pretty much confirms that Gold Racing Team will be the team's champions as well for this season. So congratulations to them. Edwards rounds out the podium. Jeffrey Garzotto, best result of the season, of course, in 4th. And Powell, top of the EBSR drivers, in 5th. Then it was Bob Humphrey in 6th, top of the amateur drivers. He's pretty much got the amateur championship secured as well, although better finish race 2, otherwise it might get away from him. I'm not quite sure on that matter. Daniel Lee finished in 7th. Then it was Tom Stevens as Stephen Broomfield after a couple of spins. Look at that, he was 53 seconds off his teammates. That was a big difference between the first and 9th out there. Brandon Warren was in 10th. Then it was Kev Copeland. Joseph Saul, Christoph Adriana having a bit of a lonely race there in 13th, but could be looking good with the reverse grid. John Chessiter, Bill Krause, and Dean Powell were the drivers on the lead lap. Derek Holland finished 1 lap down, which I'm a bit confused about. But there he was. Finishing 1 lap down, then in 17th place, and then the retirees were Andrew Locke and John Gordon. So yeah, sorry, I was thinking if anyone got a penalty, but I don't think anyone did. So the reverse grid wheel then snap and savour it because it's the last time we're going to see it this season. And yeah, hopefully you have fun spinning it this last time.
You know, I always have fun. Although I think Marco has more fun, but oh well, it's fun time for the season, so let's spin it. And you were wondering about Derek Holland. It seems like he did not finish the last lap.
Aha. Okay.
He quit at somewhere just before the last chicane, so maybe he ran the fuel. I don't know.
That's tough. That's tough.
But for the reverse, we get full -8.
Full -8. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get a full. That full has been on there for the entire time. I realise it's low chances of it landing on full. But still, bit of a shame that it never landed on it this season. So it's not PAL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means Tom Stevens will be on pole position. Stephen Broomfield somehow misses out on it. I did say if it's one of the minuses, they might be in trouble, and it was pretty much 50-50. Well, the gods are against him. He'll be starting 9th. Fortunately for him, he'll have 4 Gold Racing Team drivers all lining up ahead of him. There'll be 5 in a row. That'll be quite some sight. But yeah, Tom Stevens will be on pole position. Daniel Lee in 2nd place. So that will be race 2. Then from Le Mans, the final race of this Apex Racing League GT Championship. Do not miss it. We'll be back with you in about 15 minutes time. welcome back to the Apex Racing League GT Championship, the season finale from Le Mans. This is the round 8 of the championship. It's race 16 of the championship coming up for you. We just saw a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Gold Racing team with Dennis Eichenberg winning out race 1. We then reversed the grid by 8 drivers, by far the smallest first grid we've seen all season. And so the drivers are currently gridding up, and we should be able to deliver you what the starting lineup is for this race 2. And you can see Tom Stevens, the amateur driver, on pole position. Daniel Lee starts in 2nd place. Bob Humphrey, or I keep on saying it, I think he's pretty much won the amateur championship. I don't think he really needs to do a whole lot. I think if Lee wins and Humphrey doesn't finish, then it might change. But honestly, he might already have it wrapped up, the UBSR green driver. There's Powell, Jeffrey Garzotto, Taj Edwards, Mike Weissakopsakir, and Dennis Eichenberg, race 1 winner. Agonisingly missing out was Stephen Broomfield. A couple of spins missed him the chance of getting reverse grid pole. He starts in 9th. Brandon Warren in 10th. Then it's Kev Copeland. Joseph Saul in 12th. Then it's John Tressida, Christoph Adriano, Dean Powell, Bill Krause, Derek Holland, and John Gordon rounding out this 18-car field. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me once again is Adam Hedgecock. Adam, how are we expecting this one? We saw Lee do especially well at Spa last month. Didn't quite seem to have that same amount of pace in race 1, but we know he's got pretty good race craft, and that's what you need around this Le Mans circuit.
You're lucky I'm answering any of your questions right now after what you just said about front-wheel drive cars. No, this will be a great race once again. We've got the 3 AMs up front that are very, very capable. And then we've got the quick boys from Gold Racing Team, and yeah, they looked great in the first race, didn't they? So again, same rules apply. Don't battle too hard. Don't lose the draft of the cars in front. Play the long game. Keep the draft in mind, and have an amazing last couple of laps. Is the order of the day, I think.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to this one then. Round 16 of the championship. Are we going to see a new race winner for this round of the championship? Just a reminder that none of the top 7 on the grid have taken a win all season long. Eichenberg, the only driver, I believe, out of the entire field who's taken a race win so far this season. So we might well have a debutant on the top step of the podium today. Here comes Tom Stevens then, round the final couple of corners, and we are going to get racing then for the last time this season. Tom Stevens leads the field away. Daniel Lee very close to him though across the start-finish line. And he might have a chance going into the first chicane. Here he goes, trying to go to the outside. He'll muscle his way round through here as they battle their way through the smoke, and Lee does take the lead right off the bat. Oh, but it's a spin round, and he's in the middle of the circuit, and now taking the lead off him is Bob Humphrey. Daniel Lee with a spin round with the tyres, extremely cool, and he's lost out big time. Weissakopsakir as well has gone for the second. That's going to be a mighty slowdown for him. He's going to lose touch with the drivers ahead, I believe. Great start for Eichenberg. He's up 3 places. Edwards up 2 places. Great start for Chester as well. He's up 4 places. Kev Copeland skates off the track.
What a crazy start to the race. I for a moment I thought Lee was going to get it done. What a ballsy move round the outside of the first right-hand kink, coming up to Dunlop, I believe the first chicane is called. But I don't know, but there's a little bit of contact, maybe a little bit of net code. It just turned him round, and it's such an unfortunate thing. But given we're now in a 40-minute race, it's not so much of a sprint as we see. Is that Powell having a look at Stevens coming into the first chicane along the Mulsanne. Looked like Stevens just gave it to him, just let him filter ahead. Stevens toying with a slowdown there, really taking a lot of curb. Looking at his speed coming out of it, he might have actually got a slowdown.
I think he's alright. I think he just had a... Oh no, you're absolutely right. Shouldn't have questioned you. He has got a slowdown, and he drops behind a few of the Gold Racing Team drivers, and he's going to have to slow down a lot more than that on this opening lap. That's going to lose him a load of time, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's still got a little bit more of it to serve. But we are coming to the end of the area that he can serve it as he tries it in too deep, and oh, that's playing way offline. Tom Stevens with a tricky start right now. Started in on pole position, lost it straight away, regained it, but had to stand on the brakes and oh dear, he's lost loads of position. He's going to barely be within the top 10 by the end of this lap. Look at John Tressida as well in that pink BMW. He's doing an absolutely awesome job trying to battle his way. Daniel Lee, he spun at turn 1. He's back up into the top 10 now, moving his way past.
Yeah, isn't it kind of ironic and slightly humorous? I say this very tongue-in-cheek that Lee and Stevens are back racing each other, back on the same piece of tarmac again after their first corner incident. It's funny how racing kind of plays out like that. You see Lee getting past Stevens for P9. I wonder if we can see that start again, if possible. I am wondering if there was any contact, or whether it was iRacing playing some jokes on the driver.
Maybe so. Taj Edwards got up into second place, by the way, so you do see the race start. He seemed to go around the outside at turn 1 pretty comfortably, and then yeah, those cold tyres was a good start for Lee. Took loads of curve at the final chicane, but it kind of straightened him up and really allowed him to launch. There was an incident at the back actually. That was Adriana and Copeland and Saul, I think, clashing with one another. So I didn't see that initially at the race start. Here was Lee then, and it's a little bit of a bit bumpy as well going down into that first chicane. Actually did really well there. Credit to him, to Tom Stevens for getting on the brakes. A lot of drivers were just driven through. I just thought, well, there's a car in the way, I'll just drive straight through him. But he actually got on the brakes, so credit to him there. Taj was then getting past Aaron Powell earlier on in this lap, and also Eichenberg getting overtaken, I believe, by Jeffrey Garzotto, or maybe this is Garzotto defending. Well, Garzotto certainly started ahead of his rival, and well, he is still ahead. He's in 4th place.
What a meeting for Garzotto so far. Who's that with the slowdown on the inside?
Edwards.
Oh, what's happened to... Oh, maybe he's just taken a little bit too much liberty coming through that final couple of chicanes there. But Garzotto, what a night he's having so far. I don't want to say too much, just in case we put the glorious curse on him. But he is out there. He's racing hard, yeah, delighted to see. To be honest with you, really rooting for him tonight. What a showing from him.
Yeah, maybe. He's in a pretty good place now. In 3rd place, top of the Gold Racing Team cars. Got Bob Humphrey and Aaron Powell ahead of him. I think he'll be more concerned that he's behind Dennis Eichenberg. Certainly did have the legs on him in race 1. So we catch a ride on the nose cam, and this is a lot of overspeed for Jeffrey Garzotto. He has the choosing of which side he wants to go. Goes to the inside, and at 290 kilometers an hour, or close to that at least, he does move past. Good news for Powell is he stayed ahead of Eichenberg, and that's a pretty good run as well for Powell. If anything, it might have been too good a run, because he gets very close to the Porsche drivers very early on in the straight. I wonder if he would have preferred to stay behind a bit longer and build up some momentum, but he is at least drawing alongside. And well, it's 2 Evo SR drivers versus 2 Gold Racing Team drivers at the moment, and this battle might well be helping up the leading Evo SR driver pull away.
I would imagine that Bob Humphrey out in front is on his hands-free Bluetooth device in his cockpit, talking to Powell, saying, "Have a fight with him. Keep those boys behind you. Let me get a bit of a gap out in front, and we'll see what we can do later on in the race." Of course, if these guys decide to work together, they can bridge that gap to Humphrey pretty quickly. But as long as they're fighting, they're going to be losing time. James Salt in the YouTube chat. Good evening, James. Shame to see you're not racing this evening, but he's cheering Bob on for this race, unsurprisingly.
Slow down for Garzotto, cutting the Mulsanne corner. And once again, that's going to be a hefty slowdown. I mean, you're lucky that you don't get a bloomin' bollard going through your windscreen, to be honest, when you do that. Really, iRacing should model those bollards a little bit better, so that you don't drive straight through them. Do you hit the bollards, or am I being an idiot?
I know you hit the little orange cone on the outside as you're braking to go into that, but yeah, the bollards, I think they're like the ones that were at the old Silverstone
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it at Luffield, I think it is, isn't it, that you can drive
Woodcote.
through? Oh, Woodcote, there we go. I always get those two confused.
Woodlands and Luffield, honestly, which one's which? I have no clue.
Yeah, I know. I should know. Oh, who's that off? John Gordon taking a little drive through the kitty litter. Looks like he just carried too much speed and run wide.
Here he was. A bit of curb on the inside. He's actually alright at this point, and then bit of an overcorrection hits the wall. That's going to be some aero damage. That will be much steering damage. Not what he wanted after, of course, flipping on his roof in race 1. By the way, we'll have some good onboards with this. I think I'm going to make a season compilation of best onboards. We've been posting round by round the best onboards the last couple of weeks, which has been good fun, been some good shots. Certainly Spa was absolutely terrific, some of the onboards that we got from that circuit. You can check that out on our Facebook page, but yeah, we'll make a little compilation of them, which will be on this YouTube channel. Dennis Eibenberg now is trying to move up past Aaron Powell once again, 2.5 seconds to the race leader. Humphrey with the fastest lap of the race that last time round. Here is Eibenberg then moving up into second place. Can Powell come back? Well, and that's almost going to be cutting the track. Surely that is cutting the track. Eibenberg, will he get a slowdown for that? I'm not sure if he did to be honest. He didn't cut it properly. He kind of just ran wide through the first part. And yeah, he is now starting to slow down. Wants to keep Edwards behind him though simultaneously. And now Humphrey is 4 seconds out in the lead. This is really opening up now.
Bob Humphrey must be loving what he's seeing in his mirrors right now. Why these guys are battling so hard and letting Bob get away is beyond me. Very cynical view on this. I detest racing draft tracks with people that want to race every single corner and not think about the long game. Literally, it boils my blood. So it's a shame to see that they're battling so hard and letting Bob get away. On the plus side to it, what a great battle for second place we're seeing right now. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. To be fair to Eibenberg, I don't think he's gone for any dumb moves, apart from maybe that move going into the chicane. He didn't really seem to commit to that, which just uses them more time. I think the move into the chicane was sensible, but he couldn't pull it off. And he knows that he's faster than Powell. So he knows that if he got past Powell, he could pull away, but it's not working out for him at the moment as Edwards moves back past, he's back up into third place. Well, we've seen a couple of doubles, I think, so far this season. I think we saw Karoni do one. I think we've seen Andre do one so far this season. I'm sure Eibenberg would love to do it again, get his first one. But at the moment, it's not all his at the moment. Garzotto in 5th place. Broomfield, who's had a quiet race, surprisingly, staying in 9th place. But he is now moving up into 5th position, it seems, the BMW driver. Came so close to winning last time out at Spa, finishing 2nd to James Salt. I hope he's, having a bath or something. Hopefully he's putting his feet up. For once not in the racing seat. As Aaron Powell, once again, is under pressure from Edwards this time. And Eibenberg will try to at least pick up one position from the situation.
Yeah, great battling once again. It's great when we look back from these cars. You can see just in the background, you've got Broomfield, you've got Garzotto, you've got Visa Kopsika, you've got Lee, all incredibly fast drivers. Just a short way back from this battle. You know, before we know it, if these three keep going at it like they are, we're going to have Humphrey home and dry, and we're going to have that pack of 4 or 5 just behind as Broomfield goes really wide, and look how much that's brought the trailing 5 behind into contention. This is shaping up to be a monumental battle for about 7 or 8 cars.
That's a little bit silly, I think, from Powell to try to go around the outside at that corner, ran way too wide, and may have dropped the slipstream effect now to Eibenberg. This is Garzotto still defending from Broomfield. He's done a good job at defending that place. Visa Kopsika with them, and Lee as well. He will be really thinking what could have been if it weren't for that spin at turn 1. Would probably be fighting with Humphrey right now for the race win. Certainly would be within the podium places. Garzotto with a slide, doesn't want to extend the track too much, and so he almost has to get on the brakes, really correct the car. Here comes Broomfield again into the final couple of chicanes. Neither of these guys want to back out, but, well, Gazotto did in the end. That was certainly the wise thing to do, and Bufield up into 5th, but with a few long straights coming up, that battle's, he's not going to be able to pull away anytime soon.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? That you know, you don't mind falling back a little bit and watch what's unfolding behind, in front of you. You know, as long as you stick in that toe, you know, you as the car behind, you're just going to be fine. But if you're the car in front, you're going to want to be scampering away as quickly as you possibly can. But yeah, it's so hard to do so with the amount of toe you get around this track. Just consulting my notebook again. So double winners. Round 3, Andre done a double. I believe I've got a question mark on race 2 there. But round 4, Caroni also done a double. They're the only doubles we've had so far this season in the pro category. So there you go.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not even sure I've seen one in the AM category.
Oh well.
I'm testing you now, aren't I? Jeez.
Lee in round 4 done a double.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Yes, I think that was Kota. And that's been the only double this season in the AMS.
Okay, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You're almost like Ted Kravitz, which we occasionally look to for wisdom, and you deliver it to us without fail, so thanks for that.
After this race, I'm going to go on Amazon and buy myself some sandals.
Oh, lovely. Year 1 racing, perhaps?
Oh, yeah, custom flip-flops.
You know, they give out them to most commentators. I haven't got any, but Marco has already been consulted on whether he'd want a few, so certainly you do have a window in. Here is Lee. He's up into 7th place now, isn't he, actually? He must have passed by Sokopsuka. May have happened before our eyes, but we were talking about sandals, so apologies for that. He is around the outside of the BMW. They're getting very close as well to Gazotto. Just ahead, that's a slide, and Lee has to get on the brakes. Fortunately for him, he was kind of right in line of the BMWs and had to brake when he saw him slow ahead, and now Vysokopska is catching up to these guys. But Vysokopska actually losing time. You can see in the battle bot, that gap opening up to 2 tenths of a second. Likely he's got a bit of damage on that BMW, perhaps, from an earlier incident, because I thought he may have had the opportunity to move past, but he actually just absolutely flying along. We know that Ferrari's quick, and he does move ahead. The nice element that iRacing have, I believe the rear wing, certainly on the single seats it does, but I believe on the GTs as well, does narrow depending on how much downforce you've actually got. In the Formula 3.5 it's really obvious how much wing some giants are running, and certainly that wing looks a bit narrower than normal, all empty.
They do indeed. I did not know that was a thing, to be honest with you. I know that they take out some of the elements. Who's that in the wall? That's Kev Copeland in the wall, going through the kitty little. Again, was it Copeland we saw just a few moments ago doing the exact same thing? Was that Copeland?
That was on lap 1, I think, wasn't it? In the first sector.
Oh, he's got that massively wrong there. Went in way too shallow. Was never going to make the corner at that speed. You see Powell fending off Derek Holland behind.
Oh, that's wide, and they're both going to be in the wall. Ouch. Saul is catching up to these guys. Derek Holland doesn't want to finish the season like this, and it's going to be in a very tricky position. Well, he uses F3 screen. Maybe he's using SDK Gaming. That would be a fantastic situation for him. So now it's so clear with the data that it's outputs. But Holland does rejoin the circuit with a bent rear wing. Pretty much nothing you can do there. Just car spinning in front of him, and he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's one of those. You're trying to stick with the car in front so close. We see Powell coming into the pits to get a repair. Yeah, you're following so close. We found this in the 24-hour race that's here. You want to be so close to the car in front that sometimes when incidents like that happen, you've got no chance of avoiding it. It looks like, other than a bit of wing damage, the car's not crabbing at all. It looks like it's pointing in the right direction. He might give it a lap, see how it goes, and then maybe come in for repairs. But yeah, such a shame. Such a shame. But we'd never like to see that happen.
Do get a fast compared to these drivers, hence why Dean Powell came into pits. He hasn't joined the track yet. Powell? Yes, he has just come out of pits, so you can see him back out there. There he is. Back with the battle that we just saw a glimpse of, Garzotto versus Lee. Lee is apologies, this is Lee versus Broomfield. So he's got past Broomfield, I think. I don't know. I'm struggling. It's just Gold Racing Team driver 1, Gold Racing Team driver 2.
He
But
got
Lee is
past
back.
last lap.
There you go. Thank you for
Sorry.
that. And next up is Garzotto, so another Gold Racing Team car to catch up. Powell in 4th place. You can just see them battling, and once again Lee having to defend. He was kind of the middle of the circuit. That's going to be a very acute angle. Oh, well, I'm surprised they even tried to stay in there, did Broomfield. And once again, we're seeing the same thing, Adam, where these guys want to battle at every corner. And just like you, I'm one for sensible driving, I'm one for team orders. I can't get enough of team orders. I just think manipulating your drive, sacrificing one driver's race for another, I think is absolutely superb. And definitely the way to go. But these guys aren't driving necessarily sensible because, well, they're defending into every corner and attacking into every corner.
They are indeed. It's the last race of the season. They want to go out on a bang. They want to be on that highlight reel. The best onboards that you've been doing. They all want a piece of it now, Sam. That's what it is. So they're willing to sacrifice their long-term race for short-term fame on your videos. But you can see the gap now to Garzotto ahead as Broomfield's going side by side with Lee once more. He just runs out of tow, doesn't he? He gets alongside and then kind of stalls a little bit. Lee doing enough to stay ahead at this moment in time, though.
11 lap race this, I believe. My maths is correct. 4 times 10 is 40, and it's just under 4. So that should mean that we get 11 laps of this event, unless the pace is especially slow. If all the front guys have like a crash or something, maybe we would only get in 10, but 11 should be alright. So we are not yet halfway through this race. Even though the timing looks as though we're pretty close, we're still a few minutes away yet. And out in the lead, the gap is down to 1.4 seconds. On that last time round, Humphrey lost 1 second. Will be interesting to compare lap times this time round. He did make a break for it earlier on, whilst the others were fighting. He's not going to have that gap for a whole lot longer. Edwards is 1.4 seconds back. I think he's going to gain much more than 1 second this time round. Humphrey has been doing 54s, as good as 54s earlier on in the race. This time he does a 57.3. It's not good enough. He lost 1 second through sector 3. Must have maybe got a slowdown potentially. Meanwhile, Edwards 2 seconds faster that last time round, and Eichenberg 2.5 seconds faster. So he'd take an absolute massive chunk as Lee has got a slowdown, and it's lost him a couple of places. Oh, and
he has. Yeah, when it's not going your way, it's not going your way. Daniel Lee, that is a shocker to say that. It's one of those. We were speaking about this the other day with the Nürburgring 2-hour event, weren't we? With Alex, about when you're driving that little bit slower to try and bring the car home, you misjudge corners a lot more because you're not carrying the same speed that you're used to. I wonder if that's just caught him out there. He's having a slowdown and just got himself a little bit crossed up, going that bit slower, coming into that chicane. Now, when we was looking at the Edwards and Eichenberg, I did hear a load of tyre squeal in the background, but I don't think anything happened. I think someone just got a bit of a slide on. You see Garzotto going at it again with Powell. These two are relentless, aren't they? I can imagine this one will be going all the way to the end. They've got no chance of catching Eichenberg up ahead now. He's over 5 seconds ahead. But Visa Kopsika is not that far behind with Broomfield, carrying him along and bringing him back into this fight as well. So, yeah, 4-way battle very soon, I would imagine.
It's strange that around a circuit like this, you usually want to be following someone. It seems like if you're alone, then you can go a whole lot faster because you're not battling with someone else. So the fact that Vaitakowska hasn't got a draft, I don't think that's going to be too worrisome for him. He will just be able to set some consistent lap times now. I always find this circuit is tricky to I know it's tricky to get the most out of the car because it's there's not a whole lot you do for 60% of the track. It's very much down to what your car is what your car is doing. There's not a whole lot of times where you can really make the difference, and it can be tricky to keep your concentration as well down each of these long straights. So of course we will have the 24 Hours of Le Mans on iRacing at least coming up in about a month and a half's time. Certainly looking forward to that one. I mean, I love this circuit for. I say I love this circuit. I'm not a. I'd rate it 9 out of 10 probably for endurance racing. Don't think it's the best sprint circuit personally, but I think for endurance racing it is absolutely a classic, Adam. And as Powell falls off the circuit, had built a gap to Garzotto. He's got the better line though for the right-hander. Now Broomfield is with her. But yeah, I don't rate this particularly highly in terms of sprint racing. Whenever you've raced this place in the Kia or other cars, how have you found it? Oh, as in fact Edwards has taken the lead off Humphrey, who must have picked up a slowdown or something. And we do have a change for the lead. Taj Edwards leads.
Out of nowhere, Humphrey has just lost so much pace. I was on the verge of saying to you, according to my notebook, we've not had an AM win a race outright this season, and perhaps we were seeing it for the first time here. But yeah, Humphrey is. It's almost like he's towing a caravan out there, isn't it? He's going so slowly compared to everyone else at the moment for no real reason. We haven't seen any incidents for him. As Eipenberg's getting interested coming into the last couple of chicanes. But yeah, Edwards, now he's out in front. We know he's got the pace. He could run away. As we see 3 wide coming into the last 2 chicanes. Wow, this quartet are, they're going for it, aren't they? This is brilliant.
Powell staying ahead of Broomfield, who's got ahead of Garzotto then. Vizskovsky is well with these guys. You can see the variance in lap times. Vizskovsky 3.5 seconds faster than Garzotto on that last tour. It's a long circuit. I mean, it's twice the length of say Sebring, for example. But it's still a big pace difference between these drivers. They're now 8 seconds behind the top 3 cars. At least it does look like Humphrey will get a podium, which we haven't seen too many times for amateur drivers so far this season.
You say that knowing I'm going to start flicking through pages. So.
Exactly. It's almost as though I'm pressing the button on an oven, just waiting for you to your mind to whir around to figure out if what I've said is true. Pretty close for the lead actually. So Humphrey didn't lose that much time when he got overtaken, and so the gap is still only 0.3 of a second out in the lead. However, he has lost a little bit of time for the first chicane. Garzotto might be able to come back at Broomfield here, and Garzotto has moved up into 5th place. Oh, he just about got it stopped. Nicely done. Although he's going to be a switching duck going down this next straightaway.
Yeah, you want to try and get the best exit as you can, whether you're following or in front, don't you? It's so tough and so tight. That any little mistake, a little bit of slip, a little bit of wheel spin, and you're going to suffer all the way down those straights. But we can see just out in front, Eipenberg getting a little bit. Sorry, not Eipenberg. Powell just getting a bit of a gap between these 3. Garzotto still putting up a good fight though, isn't he? He's willing to try and fight back if he's passed. You know, he's not just conceding it. He's fighting it all the way. As I'm seeing just flashed up on my screen that Humphrey and Eipenberg are having a scrap for second.
They were really close. I was keeping an eye on it all the way down that 3rd Mulsanne straight. Humphrey, though defending against Eipenberg, got within about a 10th of a second, but I wasn't close enough. A strange line actually from Eipenberg, from Humphrey through the 2nd Mulsanne chicane. It seems as though he took a lot of pace in, but then didn't have a good exit, and as he opens the line up here for Eipenberg, that would be easy for Dennis Eipenberg. And to be fair, I think Humphrey's the most sensible driver out of this entire field. He's actually giving up a place almost voluntarily there, because he knows that as long as he stays close, he might be able to tow himself back up to the race leader. Also, we'll be thinking about the amateur championship. Just needs to finish this race. That would absolutely confirm it. Would rather do it this way than put in a little bit of question. Would be his best result of the season if he could get a top 3. And lives out of it, so he doesn't want to battle with Eichenberg going into the Porsche curves. But this is where you've got to really show your strength and stay close, just say that you're within that time for the next straight, but just understeers a little bit and the time starts ebbing away.
So, answer to 2 of your questions. You asked me about racing here in endurance racing. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it, and I can't wait to do the 24 hours this year. We've already started planning it, which is balmy, really. But yeah, we are looking forward to it as a team there. And according to my notes, the highest position an AM has finished. Now this is a little bit spotty as we see Eichenberg getting very wide there on the last corner. Humphrey's getting interested going into turn 1 again. The fact that I've just spotted this while looking at my notepad just bewilders me. How am I multitasking? As Humphrey takes second place, coming back up into the Dunlop chicane. Nicely done from Humphrey there. Yeah, the highest position I can see that an AM has finished was last time out at Spa, and it was Daniel Lee who finished 4th. Before that was also Lee, who finished 5th at the Nürburgring in race 1. They're the 2 highest I can see. So Bob Humphrey is on for a season best AM finish overall as well today.
Yeah, it's looking very good. But thanks for that. I have an entire I could just fill that into a spreadsheet, and yeah, I'm totally relying on you with your I'm sure carved out of your own fingernails. You put that into your notepad. Kev Copeland cuts the course. Can't do that. Loses 2 places, or loses 1 place. I think he was trying to get past Chester. He's having a very good race actually as the Welsh driver. Great to see him in this championship as one of the most loyal servants to in this field. Powell runs it deep into the first chicane, and meanwhile, Eichenberg going to get ahead again of Humphrey. And we've seen this from Eichenberg already today, where he I can't recall who it was. Maybe it was Powell who he couldn't get past for a few corners, or even a couple of laps, and it lost him time. This is losing him time as well. Edwards now up to 2.5 seconds out in the lead. We've got 3 more laps after this one. We can catch Ken Eichenberg to Edwards if he passes right now, but I think if that gap gets to 3 seconds by the end of this lap, then I think that might be too much for him to gain.
Well, if he's clever, and I'm not insinuating that he isn't, but if he's clever in how he does this, he can strategically let Humphrey past him on the straights. Pass him for the corners, try and limit the amount of time lost there, as we see Powell going side by side with Broomfield. Is it again Broomfield taking the position, coming up into the tight right-hander, but he runs a bit wide, doesn't he? Look at that. Powell back up the inside. More side-by-side action. These guys, they're getting close. Steady on, boys. Great move from Broomfield to begin with, and then Powell with great defence. And once again, Peter Kopsika, just watching this, enjoying the show. But as I was going to say, if Eichenberg is smart, he'll let Humphrey pass on the straight so he can get the toe, and he'll inadvertently work with him to bridge that gap to Edwards. But Edwards is looking very strong at the moment, isn't he?
He sure is. 55.29 for Edwards on the last lap. We'll see what time he does. You can see it on the time tell. I'll flash up just to the right of the driver's flags. Edwards, the Jamaican driver, shockingly, out of this entire film. Daniel Lee with another spin. Been quick as Lee. Hasn't had the consistency they had at Spa though. Picks up a slowdown as well at Spa, which cost him the race lead. So maybe susceptible to a couple of mistakes. Maybe that's the one area that he needs to improve on a bit. Powell, that's a cutback. You usually see moves midway through the Porsche curve, so we're not going to see it this time either. It's quite clear that Broomfield and Kopsika do have a pace advantage, but they're not being allowed to show it at the moment. Also got, actually we've seen a little bit of it already, as John Gordon's just got past Bill Krause, by the way, for 13th place. Unlucky stuff. Eipenberg has been re-overtaking again. Humphrey is really good through those last couple of chicanes. I've seen him throughout where he seems to be able to take a load more curb than his rivals. The rest of the circuit is where he struggles with that. But those couple of chicanes, he's absolutely nailing them, and he's been able to make that move into turn 1 a couple of times.
He has. I think Bob is just generally good on the brakes. He seems to be able to roll the car in with quite a lot of momentum, which means, you know, the more momentum you carry, the higher your exit speed is, and he just seems to be able to carry that little bit of extra speed, whether he's trail braking a little bit or whether he's just timing the braking that little bit better. He's doing what he needs to stay ahead, and he certainly doesn't look out of place, does he? He's been solid all season, and once again he's showing that he doesn't mind mixing it with the pro drivers. As we see Eipenberg having a look up the inside again. This is what I was saying before with Eipenberg. Just let Humphrey do the drafting for you, gain that little bit of extra time. Now maybe if Humphrey is close enough, he'll let him back past again. And if they flip-flop like this, they have a chance of actually catching Edwards. Although that said, Edwards has now got 4.5 seconds. No, that can't be right. 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
tricky to believe. 1.6 seconds faster than these guys in the last lap. Fastest lap of the race for Edwards. Or at least his, I don't think it was even his personal best. It was 1/100th off his personal best. Oh, well, this is not what you were talking about. So about safety in the cars, that's not going to help you a whole lot. But to be honest, they're 5 seconds off the lead now. This is just a duel. I mean, you may as well defend and attack as much as you want, guys, because you're going to finish in these positions regardless, as long as you don't take each other out. So, Tajid was well on course then for his first win of the season. Always love a last race of the season win. Saw George McClay get one in the Euro V8 Supercar, so it's sure it's happened in ARLTC and World GT as well in the past. So it's a nice way to cap off the season. Broomfield, by the way, game past Powell. However, they are back alongside, and well, based on how Powell has been driving today, Powell feels inevitable they will get back past him. As the second and third are side by side as well, simultaneously, and Eisenberg's got back ahead of Humphrey again.
This one just seems like a replay, doesn't it, of Powell and Broomfield, with Visa Kopsika just watching once again. Once again, we said about it earlier with Humphrey being on the phone to the rest of his team, trying to create a bit of a gap for him. I would imagine that Broomfield and Visa Kopsika are conspiring to both get past Powell at some point. But at the moment, they're just struggling to make anything stick, which is surprising. A little bit of housekeeping, by the way. We saw Holland have an incident earlier. He has in fact parked it. He did so a few laps ago after trying to continue, and is out of the race.
Christoph Adriano as well out of the race, so a little bit of a shame to see the Ockertons racing driver retire. Powell, oh, that's bold. That was nearly 3 wide. They all wanted to get past one another right there. They did a good job, particularly by Kopsika, to give a bit of space for the Evo SR car, Evo SR green car. And at least they're all within the draft of one another, so I imagine they will be very close to one another. This time, next lap, we've got 2 more laps to go. 4.5 more minutes to go. You can just see them ticking over to lap 10. Oh no, Garzotto into the wall. This was ahead of Lee. This was in 7th place, I believe, at the time. Well, it's a delayed curse, but it's a curse nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I think that's a bit of suspension, Dav. He went in hard, didn't he? You can see the hood of the car there just ruffled up. Yeah, that's not what you want to be doing. He was going so well. He really was. It's such a shame. I'm genuinely upset by that one. I thought he was having a mega evening. And it's a shame to see that happen to Jeffrey Garzotto. Of course, everyone behind him moves up a spot, which puts Daniel Lee back into 7th. What a evening he's had. He's like riding a tide at the moment, isn't he? He was right up at the start, had an incident, went right way to the back. Now he's coming back in again. It's yeah, what an up and down night for Daniel Lee.
7 seconds behind this battle. Don't think he's going to be able to catch up, despite the fact that they are battling a lot. He was actually slower No, he was faster. He was about a second faster, but he needs 3 seconds left to catch up in time. There goes Powell. So he's got back 1 then. That's supposed to be lifting out early there. He was having none of that. And Powell now within passing range. Maybe your midfield ahead because 3.5 tenths. Maybe not into this next chicane. I think that's going to be a bit too far back, but maybe into Mulsanne corner. He's going to have the advantage. It's rare that you've got 2 teammates and they can't deal with this lone ranger. Aaron Powell, he hasn't really established himself, certainly in race 1 and so far in this race 2, as being a faster driver. That's, well, maybe he's got a little bit less downforce, but the car's got a lot of great ability. First to go to the inside, has to opt to the outside, but he's got a better launch. The best run ever for Powell, but he's close enough, and going to Mulsanne corner should be the favourite. Now, can he find the inside here? Fully in the jump, goes to the outside instead. Always good to see side by side through here. Gotta have a lot of confidence in your rival not to understay into you. Does help a lot that these cars, of course, have ABS, so the jump on the inside is unlikely to miss the corner. Oh dear me. Wide goes Broomfield, and he drops back down into 6th place.
To my knowledge, GTEs don't have ABS. As Humphrey is fighting once again with Eipenberg. Yeah, I thought the GT3s have ABS, but the GTEs don't.
God damn,
not entirely sure on that.
Call me out on that, didn't you?
Well, no, I'm not entirely sure.
They have traction control, but not ABS.
Ah, there we go. So yeah, I seem to remember when we done the Daytona 24-hour race, locking a front left, it would have been, coming into turn 1 was a common thing in the BMW M8. Yeah, it's you do have to be cautious on the brakes. I mean, you can set these cars up pretty well, so you're not locking brakes too easily. But yeah, if you're carrying too much speed and you try and ask the car to turn as well, it is very feasible that you'll get a little snatch. Heidenberg's rallying it, isn't he?
Gap is down to 2 seconds. Edwards has had a pretty rubbish lap. Just trying to see. Oh, he had an awful first sector. He lost 2 seconds in sector 1. Could have been a slowdown, or dare I even say a slide, because that seems like a big slowdown. And it's back on this one. And Humphrey, he's so good through those last couple of chicanes. He cuts it down a little bit more. It's 1.7 now, with 1 lap to go. So Edwards can't afford a mistake. If he makes a mistake, then Humphrey will be in line. This is where Edwards made the mistake, I believe, on the last lap. Much more secure though this time. That looks very good. You can see that gap in the bottom right, increasing back up to 1.9. And you kind of wonder if Humphrey and Eipenberg hadn't been fighting so hard, maybe they would have been close enough to benefit from that. But ifs, buts, and maybes.
No, absolutely. No, I wonder. We saw, Edwards had a dodgy first sector. He also had a really bad final sector. Now, I'm wondering. We saw it with Holland, was it, who didn't have enough fuel in the first
he just
race?
disconnected, I think, with Holland. I don't think there's a fuel issue.
Gotcha. Well, I do. Yeah, you kind of hope that they have got enough fuel. It is a very long lap, as we're seeing Humphrey and Eipenberg going side by side again. They can see the back of Taj Edwards' car as Eipenberg just sweeps on in front of Humphrey there. Runs a little bit wide. Manages to collect it though before slowdowns come into effect, and Humphrey right under that spoiler. Look at him; he's almost pushing him down the track as he pulls out now to the left-hand side and to try and get the inside line for the second of the chicanes down the Mulsanne here. And he's just going to be reliant on Eipenberg on the outside just to give him that little bit of room that he will need. There we go, just slots back in front. Although Eipenberg just letting him know that he's let him have that one, didn't he? Just poked his nose back out just to say, I'll let you have that one. You go and do your thing now, and we'll resume this as we come out of this chicane.
This might be his last chance, though. I guess into Indianapolis actually will be his last chance, I imagine, to overtake. Mulsanne, though, he might want to get past. Once again, Humphrey taking that customary middle line. Kind of making it tricky either way for Eipenberg, back up to 3 seconds now actually to the race lead, so they have lost each other quite a bit of time just on this lap. 13 seconds back to Aaron Powell. He has actually made a bit of a gap now to Stephen Broomfield in 4th place. But 2 tenths of a second then for 2nd place. Eichenberg's got to get it done now. He's made this move into Indianapolis a few times already today, and he might be able to make it again. They are alongside. Here he goes. Round the outside through part 1. Out the inside for part 2. And there's not a whole lot that Humphrey can retaliate, so it seems like Dennis Eichenberg should be able to get this place. Can Humphrey get his car back on the inside? Forces Eichenberg to take a tight line. And now there's one, well, I said one last chance beforehand. Maybe into the Porsche curves. That strong straight line speed for Humphrey might be able to draw alongside. Here he goes, might even get his nose ahead going into the corner. However, he's going to have the outside line. And the tyres may well be degrading, going to be tough on the rears here. Goes to the outside, almost contact between the two of them. And Eichenberg has enough. He stays ahead. And it should be a Gold Racing Team 1-2, as long as he doesn't make a mistake towards the end of this lap. Out in the lead, though. Taj Edwards. He's got a couple of podiums already this season. Probably the most accomplished driver yet to win a race this season. Looks like he's going to bring an end to that one. The Ferrari 488 driver, the Gold Racing Team driver, the Jamaican, rounds the final corner. And he is going to take the final race victory of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Eichenberg secures 2nd. And Humphrey finishes on the podium. And that will be the amateur class championship title for Bob Humphrey. Congratulations to him on that feat. Aaron Powell somehow beats Broomfield and Bicycopska. Fantastic battle between the 3 of them. Chessida and Gordon are still battling. I believe Gordon is catching back up to Chessida. In fact, he was 2.5 seconds faster on that last lap. Copeland as well is very slow, just ahead of them. He was in the over 4-minute mark. However, I don't think there's going to be time to catch up to him. So he should be fine. Chester's just got a couple more chicanes to hold on. There is Copeland in 10th place. I believe had a couple of bumps actually in this race. He hit the wall at one point. As you can see by the bonnet, actually, that's where be that shape. He though will finish in the top 10 to round off his season and round off B Team's season. And Chessida will beat Gordon to 11th place. A couple more drivers to come across the line. Dean Powell and Tom Stevens. But Adam, that rounds off the championship, and it feels only right that Edwards got the race victory at the end. Like I said, I think he's the most accomplished driver in this field. Maybe Broomfield. Those two have done very well this season and not won a race, but I think Edwards really did deserve that one eventually.
I have to agree with that, to be honest. We saw Edwards. He was a good driver right from the start, but it was Nürburgring, wasn't it, when he really kind of shot up and put some sterling laps in, amazing times, and was really taking it to the satellite guys. In fact, I think he was leading the race for a short period of time. So yeah, great for Edwards. Eichenberg, you know, what could have been. Like he's been so close to being triumphant. He's been probably one of the most consistent drivers over the season, hasn't he? Always fun to watch him. And Bob Humphrey, just to go back on people that have done doubles, of course, Humphrey has now done a double here as well, his 2nd of the season.
Yep, congratulations to him. Tom Stevens, well, he's delighted with 14th place. I feel like we could all be slightly more positive with that, but no, that's a nice way to end the season. Stephen Broomfield as well still out on cycle. I don't know what he's doing. I wonder if he's doing some donuts as well out on track. No, he's just trundling along. There he is.
Pop into the KFC at the side of the track.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say one of the cafes, but maybe KFC. Maybe that is what.
Well, they've modelled the KFC. You know, on the right-hand side as you come onto the Mole Sand. Yeah, there's a KFC there. Looks like a bird's nest. It's all red and it's got KFC written on the side of it.
Aha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hopefully they've modelled the 10 other rip-off KFC brands as well down down this Mole Sand Street. There they all are. Apparently, the residents of those shops were like really confused. Like, why are you taking photos of my house? But that's a pretty cool place to live. I'd like to know what the house prices are there, because that's a good spectator spot. Anyway, the results then from this round 16 of the championship. Taj Edwards with his first race win of the season beats Dennis Eichenberg in second place. Eichenberg finishes second in the championship, I believe. So congrats to him. Bob Humphrey wins the amateur championship, and it was quite comfortable in the end. If there was any doubt whether or not he deserved it, I think this spa round showed it. Both race wins for him. And Powell finished in 4th place. Brilliant battle for him. Hope to see much more of Powell in future seasons. Stephen Bloomfield and Mike Wysokowska finish in 5th and 6th. Daniel Lee, a few spins, but once again very pacey was Lee in 7th. Then Brandon Warren, bit of a quiet race in 8th. Jason Saul was in 9th, and then Kev Copeland, John Chester, John Gordon, Dean Powell, and Tom Stevens were all the drivers on the lead lap. 1 lap down was Bill Krause. 2 laps down was Jeffrey Galzotze, and the retirees were Derek Holland and Christoph Adriano. So we are going to have a couple of interviews, hopefully, with drivers. We've got a few actually up for an interview. We are going to first have a chat with Bob Humphrey, who we rudely interrupt. However, congratulations, Bob. I am not a mathematician, and I haven't done the points yet, but I am pretty much sure you have won the amateur title. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have, and that has to be the most fun I've had this season, and for a long time on iRacing, actually. Really enjoyed that. Great race with Dennis there at the end.
Absolutely. You must have been thinking, I might have this one in the early stages. Your teammate behind, Dean Powell, was helping you out quite a bit, to say the least. You were able to pull away by quite a margin, but then they were so quick behind that they managed to catch you up.
Yeah, surprisingly, I didn't ask him to do that either, so that was handy. But yeah, I knew those guys would come at some point, and my plan was to just sit with them and then just attack in the slipstream. It's a shame that me and Dennis messing around a little bit let Taj get away, but yeah, really enjoyed that. I was looking forward to this track all season, to be honest, and it really paid off at the end there. Really enjoyed it.
Did the championship come into your mind at any point today? Did you think, I don't need to win this race, I can just finish, or did that not enter your mind at all?
It was in my mind the whole last couple of races, to be honest. The last few races of the season, like I was asking the guys, like, "Where's Dan Lee? Do you know where he is? Can someone tell me where Dan Lee is?" So I was just quite eager on it. But towards the end there, I didn't really mind because I knew he was a bit further back, and I was just having too much fun. So it sort of dropped out of, you know, my thoughts, consciousness, and I was just racing for fun, which was really nice.
Of course, you've said how this was your favourite meeting of the season. Is there a moment this season which you're particularly proud of, which you think that you'll remember a little bit for a while in the future?
Probably that last race, to be honest, because I always find that I'm always there or thereabouts, but not quite. So the front guys will sort of just edge away from me every race. So it was quite nice to be one of the front guys, even though in race 1 they got away, but I had a tiny bit of damage. But it was, yeah, that one, it was really nice to just be in the mix for the win itself, which has made a change this season. I've got one last season. It was really nice just to be there finally.
Absolutely. And looking towards the next few months, I mean, have you and the Evo SR guys got too much planned in terms of events that you're planning to take part on? What's next for you?
Well, we're based on iRacing. We'll be doing the Le Mans, I imagine, and all those other big endurance events. But otherwise, the next Apex League, well, I'm sure we'll jump on that straight away. Otherwise, I think I need a break, to be honest. I might have a nap after this.
Smart thinking. Join James Salt in his bath.
Oh, maybe not.
It's where we all want to be. So thanks for having a chat with us, Bob. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Oh, as always, my old man who's watching now, probably crying his eyes out of happiness. And to be honest, it's really enjoyed this season. We've had a few ups and downs last season with a few battles, and I had a few penalties, but I've kept it clean this season, and I really appreciate the way you've run it, and it's just been great. So thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Bob. Congratulations on the championship, and we hope to see you back soon on Apex Racing TV.
Will do. See you soon, and thank you very much.
Awesome. So that was Bob Humphrey, your amateur champion for this season for Evo SR Green. Adam, who do you want to chat with next up?
I'm gonna have a little chat with Taj Edwards because it has been a long time coming, Taj, but you finally got yourself a race win. How does it feel?
Yeah, it took long enough. It's a really good feeling. First win of the season, the last race of the season. The beginning of the season, I think I had good pace to, at least keep with the fastest guys in the league. But I had some technical issues, and one issue after another, and then towards the mid to end of the season, things started to come together for me, and then finally got a win today.
What we were saying about that in commentary, the Nürburgring round was where you really kind of you were consistent enough before that. You were putting in some good times and some good results, but the Nürburgring round was where you really kind of made a big jump, and you were challenging right at the front. What changed? Was that just the track that you were good at, or did something actually change? Did you find something with the car or a set? What was it about that round that really made the difference?
Actually, I think I got a little bit more comfortable with the car. I haven't driven GTE cars that much. In the last league, I think I drove the Porsche Cup car, so it took a little bit of getting used to the GTEs and how to set it up. But I think it all came together in Nürburgring. Had good pace, had an incident, but still got a good result in race 2, and then from there just continued to roll.
It's good to hear. It's always nice when you kind of start building on that confidence, isn't it? Now today we saw quite a bit of team play with yourself and the other Gold Racing team drivers. There seem to be more of you out there than anyone else. What's it like in the comms between you when you're racing like this, especially with a lot of tow? Are you discussing where you're going to be helping each other, where you're going to be letting each other pass, etc.?
Yeah, Lamar, you always talk a little strategy while you're racing, because you want to always give your teammate the draft if you're making an overtake and stuff like that. Otherwise, from that, we just have a little laughs here and then, and we have a internal team joke which I can't share on air, but yeah, it involves something derogatory about Lamar, and it's slowed down and stuff like that. But yeah, shout out to all the guys, Dennis, Jeffrey, Steven, Mike, and John for racing all season.
It's certainly been fun to watch you all. Of course, this is the last race for this current season. Will you be looking to join the next one when that gets announced?
Yeah, we'll take a little break, and then once the new season is announced, as a team, we'll get some entries in and look forward to running it again.
Awesome. Well, it'll be great to see you out on track again. Before we let you go, is there anyone that you want to thank or to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to everyone in our team, Gold Racing team, all the guys like I mentioned before for running this season, all the other guys in the team that didn't take part, but we still communicate, and to you guys at Apex for the excellent broadcast and the well-organized league.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you for that. Well, again, congratulations for this evening. Finally, a race winner. I know that we're all delighted in the booth to see that happen to you. We'll see you in the next season, we hope.
All right. Take care and be safe.
Thanks, Taj, and you.
Taj Edwards, the race 2 winner from today's first race win of the season. Finally, we are going to have a chat with Dennis Eipenberg, who won race 1, second place in race 2, the points highest scorer from today. Dennis, congratulations. I mean, first a word on that race 1. It looked pretty comfortable for you. You just seem to extend that gap lap after lap. You seem to constantly be the fastest driver out on circuit. I mean, how was it driving?
Well, when we were doing the free practice before that, I sort of saw that I had a lot of pace. So I thought, what, this might actually be another day for victory. But with Le Mans, draft is king, and we agreed to stay in each other's draft, and me and Mike at least, overtake each other on each straight and try to build a gap that way. That went on for, I think, 1 lap. And then I think after the Porsche course and then the Dunlop course had so much more pace than the others in that section. So he was already out of my draft, and I thought, well, I'm not exactly going to wait. So I just try to clear away and to prevent him from ever getting in my draft ever again, which worked.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the race victory by a few seconds in the end. Then race 2 seemed to be a story of those pesky Evo SR drivers. You got in a big battle with Aaron Powell, and then you got in a big battle with Bob Humphrey as well. How was that? It looked a bit frustrating for you because you seemed to overtake them, and then they'd just slipstream straight past you again at the next straight, and you guys lost a lot of time.
Well, yeah, I did, but that was primarily my own fault as well, because I was a bit sloppy with overtaking. I compromised my entry a little bit, and with that, my exit in those chicanes as well, which allowed them to pull up to me quicker than I would have wanted. Eventually, I was happy to clear Aaron, and we closed the gap to Bob quite easily. But as soon as we were there, and I was on Bob's tail, that there was just no way of clearing him. I've got to take my head off to him though, because we had a phenomenal battle, and I thoroughly enjoyed racing him today. So that was good.
I was just looking at your race results from this season, at least your points hauls this season. I mean, you guys at Gold Racing Team. Oh yeah, of course, I totally forgot you have won the team's championship, so congrats on that. You guys seem to have just improved so much. It seemed like it was the new tyre model which really helped you guys out. Sebring, you seem to have a big boost. How much of it was the new tyre model, and can you put down that increase in pace to anything else?
Yeah, that's what you guys said a couple of races, or asked a couple of races before as well, that it was basically since the new tyre model that we started to improve. Truth be told, I struggle with the new tyre model more than anything else. So I think it's a bit of a coincidence that was right around that time that we that we came a little bit closer to the faster guys out there. I do believe though that ever since the new tyre model, the gap between the real fast guys and the people chasing them, like ourselves, has closed a little bit. They're still quicker in most tracks, but the gap has shrunk. And whether that is down to us or whether it just what the tyre model allows, I mean, I don't know. But I think it's a bit of a coincidence that it's around the same time as the new tyre model that we started competing actually.
What's on the horizon then for Gold Racing Team? You got any championships or any events that you're particularly looking forward to?
I think I'm gonna look forward to the 24 Hours of Le Mans now. That is something that I've been looking forward to all year. That is my favorite race of the year. So that is one thing I'll definitely be looking forward to. And I believe in a couple of weeks, or maybe soon, the new ARL GT Championship will be announced. So maybe you could tell me a little bit more about that.
All will be revealed in the right time. But no, certainly looking forward to seeing you back very soon, Dennis. Before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give to anyone?
First and foremost, you guys for setting this up, and this is by far the nicest league I've ever been a part of. Broadcasting has been great as well, so first and foremost, thank you for that, you guys. Secondly, a little bit out of the box, but there's a lot of guys who have wives, girlfriends, other types of partners, and they all allow us to spend a lot of time and energy into doing this. So for tonight, I actually want to invite all those people for them to make this happen for us, or allow this to happen for us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Dennis, and well, hope to see you back very soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Dennis Eichenberg there, driver for Gold Racing Team, who win the Team's Championship, and Dennis also finishes in second place out of the Pro Drivers. So yeah, really well done to him. this is pretty much it now for the season. Adam, all the racing is done. Merely our voices are the only thing which is continuing this season. It's been, I think this has actually been your first ever proper series that you've covered. So your first ever broadcast, to be honest. How have you found it? I mean, I think this has been a good league to take part. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Felt like I've got to know the drivers quite well, and pretty friendly atmosphere, I'd say. I haven't had the highest numbers in the world, probably averaging about 25 a meeting, but some of the racing has been phenomenal.
It has indeed. Yeah, I was a little bit. I raced in the last season, of course, when it was the GT3s, and thoroughly enjoyed that. And I was looking forward to doing it again. And then, of course, it was announced that it was switching to GTEs, which I'm not particularly good at or in. Certainly enough to commit to a league with it. So I was a little bit kind of gutted to be honest that I wasn't going to be involved. And then, of course, you reached out to me and said, well, do you want to come and do comms with me? And yeah, I jumped at the chance, and it's been brilliant. I've loved every minute of it. The racing has been great. The drivers, the camaraderie that we've seen even between rivals has been top notch. You in the booth alongside me, you've been brilliant in helping me feel more comfortable in describing what I'm seeing, and have certainly helped me develop in my early stages of my commentating career. And Sam Kumo on the cameras as well, brilliant. He's helped me out with a few teething problems in the early days, and like tonight, I know that I can say, oh, can we have a look at that, and he's right on it. Top notch camera work. So yeah, it's been brilliant, and I just hope you'll have me back for next season.
Awesome. Well, I can't confirm that. It's not looking good, Adam, to be honest. I don't think it's going to happen. No, but I guarantee you'll be the first to be invited for next season, which will be awesome. I think it's a big question, will I be invited back, to be honest? I might be organising it, and I might still yet be kicked out, to be honest. I think that's
we'll have to get you a notepad. I'll teach you the ways of the pen and paper.
I'll have to learn to write and read, which apparently takes years. So I'll get to work on that one. No, but thanks for joining me alongside for the season. I think you've done a very good job for your first season, and sure it will be the first of many. And thanks to Sam Kumo as well, of course, who makes these broadcasts as good as they are. Always helping out with the project files, which I'm absolutely probably make them an absolute mess to even start up. But he's always been helping us out for the season, and yeah, doing some great work on the cameras. And thanks for you for tuning in if you're a driver. Thanks for taking part if you're a viewer. Thanks for watching along. Hopefully you enjoyed the action, and hopefully this league will be back up and running again in a few weeks' time. More info on that I'm sure will be posted on Apex Racing TV, on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube as well. And do check out Apex Racing League, I guess, if you're part of the Discord. Ask if you want to join in the Discord as well, if you want to get involved in more of our league racing. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, do please leave a like, and check out all our videos in the upcoming on the Esports Network and on Apex Racing TV as well. But signing off for the last time this season, myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, Adam Hedgecock, and Sam Kumo, and we will see you once again very soon.